Welcome to our deep dive into the psychology of money.
Ooh, this will be fun.
We're going to be pulling some insightful excerpts from Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money.
Great book.
Get ready to discover how emotions and experiences impact our money decisions.
More than logic and spreadsheets ever could.
It's almost like there's this hidden layer to money management no one talks about.
Right, like we get those tips, save 10% of your income.
But no one prepares you for the emotional roller coaster of investing.
Or the temptation to keep up with the Joneses.
Exactly.
Housel uses this striking example.
Okay.
The contrasting stories of Ronald Reed, a janitor who quietly amassed an $8 million fortune.
Wow.
And then Richard Fuld, a Harvard MBA who ended up bankrupt.
What a juxtaposition.
Right, makes you wonder.
If an MBA from Harvard didn't guarantee financial success for Richard Fuld,
Yeah.
what did Ronald Reed figure out?
Well, Housel's point is Reed's success wasn't about a secret formula or insider knowledge. It was about his behavior, incredible patience and discipline.
Mm-hmm.
He lived frugally, invested consistently in blue-chip stocks, and let compounding work its magic over decades.
Makes sense.
Now, Fuld, despite his education,
Yeah.
fell victim to overspending and excessive risk-taking,
Classic mistakes.
ultimately led to his downfall.
So it's not just about knowing the right formulas.
Yo.
It's about having the right mindset and habits.
Yes, our behavior can sabotage our financial plans.
For sure.
Housel says understanding this behavior gap is crucial for anyone who wants to achieve long-term financial success.
So he wants us to be more self-aware.
Yes, how our emotions, biases, and experiences influence our decisions.
I like that because that awareness,
Yes,
it's the first step towards making better choices.
exactly.
It's like we need to become financial therapists for ourselves,
Uh-huh.
uncovering those deep-seated beliefs that might be holding us back.
That's a good way to put it.
But how do we understand those hidden influences?
Wow.
They don't teach financial psychology in high school.
No, they don't. Housel suggests looking to our own life stories. Our financial beliefs are shaped more by our personal experiences than by any abstract theory.
So our childhood, the economic climate we grew up in,
Uh-huh.
the financial decisions we saw our parents make,
Yes.
all of that contributes to our unique money blueprint.
Precisely.
I like that, money blueprint.
Yeah. Take bonds, for example.
Okay.
Someone who lived through the high inflation of the 1970s might have a distrust of bonds,
No, yeah.
remembering how inflation eroded their value.
Makes sense.
But someone who has only experienced low inflation might see bonds as a safe investment.
Right. Same instrument, but different perceptions.
Exactly, colored by personal experiences.
That's a great point.
It's like we're walking around with this invisible financial baggage,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
carrying the weight of our past experiences with money.
That baggage can really impact our choices.
It does. How we invest, how we spend, and even how we talk about money.
Interesting.
Housel encourages us to approach these conversations with empathy,
Okay.
recognizing that what might seem like an irrational choice to us could make perfect sense from someone else's perspective.
So before we judge someone's investment strategy,
Yes.
we should try understand the why behind their choices.
Absolutely. Everyone comes to the table with different financial baggage,
Different levels of risk tolerance, too.
for sure,
Yep.
and extend that compassion to yourself.
That's important.
We all make financial mistakes,
Definitely.
but instead of beating ourselves up,
Yeah.
try to understand the underlying beliefs or emotions that led to those choices
I like that.
and use those insights to make better decisions going forward.
It's like giving ourselves a financial pep talk.
Yeah.
Okay, but even with the best intentions
Uh-huh.
and a solid understanding of our financial psychology,
Yeah.
there's another factor we can't ignore.
What's that?
Luck.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Housel dedicates a good portion of his book to the role of chance.
Yeah.
We often underestimate the impact of unforeseen circumstances.
It's humbling to acknowledge that we're not always in complete control.
That's true. He uses the example of Bill Gates,
Oh, yeah, I was wondering if that would come up.
arguing that part of Gates' success was pure luck.
Right.
He points out that Gates had the fortune of attending one of the few high schools with access to a computer.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Back then, that was rare. Had he not had that break, his path might have been very different.
It's crazy how one small thing can have such a ripple effect.
It is. And then he contrasts Gates with his friend Kent,
Okay.
who was equally talented,
Uh-huh.
but his life was cut short by a mountaineering accident.
Oh, wow. I hadn't heard that part of the story.
It really drives home the point about luck.
Absolutely.
Life's unpredictable twists and turns can change our financial trajectories.
It's like there's this element of chance woven into everything.
Yes, something we can't fully control or predict.
So true.
And that recognition leads to another insight.
Which is?
Humility.
Okay.
We should approach our financial successes and failures with more humility.
Instead of getting overly confident or overly critical.
Yeah. Acknowledge the role of luck. Avoid those simplistic judgments.
I'm a financial genius, or I'm a complete failure with money.
Exactly. Everyone's financial journey is a mix of skill, hard work, and chance.
It's a good reminder we're all just doing the best we can.
Exactly. But this brings up a question.
What's that?
What does success even look like?
Yeah, what does it mean to be financially successful?
That's what Housel explores with the concept of enough.
Interesting.
He argues that many people never seem to reach contentment. They're constantly striving for more.
Even those who achieve great financial success.
Yes, driven by an insatiable hunger that can lead to unhappiness.
Right. Never feeling satisfied.
He uses the cautionary tales of Rajat Gupta and Bernie Madoff.
Ooh, those are big names.
Both were incredibly successful,
Yeah.
but their pursuit of more led to their downfall.
Gupta was convicted of insider trading,
Right.
and Madoff orchestrated that massive Ponzi scheme.
They had achieved extraordinary financial success, but risked it all.
Because they never felt like they had enough.
Yes, like they were trapped on a hedonic treadmill.
I've heard that analogy before. Always running, but never getting anywhere.
All the money in the world, but still chasing contentment.
So Housel is saying true success isn't about accumulating a certain amount of wealth.
Right. It's about defining enough for yourself.
I like that. It's a personal thing.
Contentment doesn't come from external validation or possessions.
It makes sense.
It comes from aligning our financial goals with our values.
And finding a sense of peace in our own journey.
Yes. Stepping off that treadmill of comparison.
Okay.
Asking yourself, what truly matters to me?
I like that.
Defining success on your own terms, not based on society's expectations.
It's about recognizing that enough doesn't mean settling.
No.
It means recognizing that the pursuit of more can be a trap.
It can lead to anxiety and dissatisfaction.
That's a good distinction.
So how do we actually define enough for ourselves?
Yeah, how do we put that into practice?
Housel suggests shifting our focus from what we lack to what we already have.
I see. Appreciate what we have.
Practice gratitude. Savor experiences. Connect with loved ones.
Appreciate the abundance in our lives.
Yes, rather than focusing on what's missing.
Recognize that true wealth isn't measured in dollars and cents.
It's about relationships, experiences, and the impact we make.
That's a good reminder.
It's about shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
So we already have so much to be grateful for.
Yes, the shift can be very empowering
Frees us from the pursuit of more.
and lets us focus on what truly brings us joy.
I love that. Speaking of wanting things, let's talk about compounding.
Right.
It might not sound exciting,
I'm intrigued.
but Housel compares compounding to ice ages.
Whoa, okay, I did not see that coming.
He makes these unexpected analogies.
I like that. It makes it more engaging.
Who knew ice ages could be so financially insightful?
Tell me more.
So how does he connect those two ideas?
So he explains that moderately cool summers, barely noticeable at the time,
Yeah.
over centuries, can gradually build up to an ice age.
Oh.
It's the cumulative effect of those small changes over a long time
Interesting.
that leads to a massive transformation.
Like little drops of water make a mighty ocean.
Exactly. And Housel applies that to investing.
I see where this is going.
Small, consistent actions like investing in a low-cost index fund
Okay.
can over time lead to significant wealth accumulation.
Not about getting rich quick.
Right. It's about patience and consistency.
Let the money grow.
Exactly. Then there's the magic of compound interest.
It's like time is your investment partner.
Yes, working tirelessly to multiply your wealth.
He uses Warren Buffett as an example, right?
He does. Housel points out that most of Buffett's wealth came after he turned 50.
Wow, really?
Imagine if you started later. The earlier you start, the better.
It's like planting a tree.
Yes,
The best time was 20 years ago.
true.
The second best time is today.
Exactly. Even if you didn't start early, it's never too late.
Just gotta start.
Time will do its thing.
I like that. But then, to further illustrate this, Housel contrasts Buffett with hedge fund manager James Simons.
Okay.
Simons has higher annual returns, but Buffett has been compounding longer.
Oh, I see.
So his wealth is much bigger.
It's a great illustration.
When it comes to building wealth, patience and consistency trump short-term performance.
It's choosing the tortoise over the hare.
Uh-huh. Slow and steady wins the race.
But building wealth is one thing.
Uh-huh.
Staying wealthy is another challenge.
We've all heard stories of people losing it all.
Right. So what's the secret to staying on top?
I'm all ears.
Housel compares Jesse Livermore,
Okay.
a stock trader who made and lost a fortune multiple times,
Wow.
and then Abraham Jermansky,
Okay.
a lesser-known investor who preserved his wealth.
Despite early losses.
Yes. So what was Jermansky's secret?
Yeah, was he just super risk-averse?
It was more than that. Building wealth and staying wealthy required different skills.
Okay.
Building wealth often involves taking risks, being opportunistic,
Yeah.
riding the waves of market cycles. Staying wealthy is about capital preservation,
Makes sense.
avoiding those catastrophic losses that can wipe you out.
It's like that saying, the only way to stay wealthy is through frugality and paranoia.
Uh-huh.
Having a healthy respect for the market.
Yes, it can create and destroy wealth.
The biggest risk to long-term success isn't volatility.
Yep.
It's impulsive decisions,
Yes, driven by fear or greed.
leading to financial ruin.
It's about having a clear head
A long-term perspective,
and the discipline to stick to your plan.
even when the market is going crazy.
That's the hard part.
It's easier said than done.
It is.
We're human.
Yes.
Emotions play a role.
Of course.
How do we balance human instincts with logic and discipline?
That's where Housel's concept of reasonableness comes in.
Okay.
He challenges the idea of perfectly rational decisions. We're not robots.
Right.
He uses a story from medicine to illustrate this.
I love when he does that, brings in examples from other fields.
That's a good way to connect the dots.
Yeah, which story?
It's about Dr. Julius Wagner Jareg,
Okay.
who won the Nobel Prize for treating syphilis with fever therapy.
Fever therapy.
It involved infecting patients with malaria to induce a fever.
Wow, that sounds intense.
It wasn't pleasant, but it worked in some cases.
Sometimes the most effective solutions aren't the most appealing.
Exactly.
So what's the point?
People often make decisions based on what they can tolerate, not just logic,
It's about finding a balance,
between the ideal and the practical.
like choosing a workout routine.
Yeah.
You might know a high-intensity program is best.
But if you hate it, you won't stick with it.
So a moderate routine you enjoy is better long-term.
Precisely. Housel applies that to finance.
Makes sense.
Find an approach that feels good enough.
Rather than chasing perfection.
Yes. Find a financial plan that's sustainable,
Something we can stick with.
even when things get tough.
A system that works for us.
Takes into account our circumstances, our risk tolerance.
Our emotional quirks.
Yes. Find your financial groove.
Comfortable and motivating.
But how do we find that groove in an unpredictable world?
The future of finance is uncertain.
Housel highlights the limitations of relying on historical data.
Like, this time is different.
Exactly.
Those pronouncements underestimate unforeseen events.
Right. Those black swan moments.
He uses examples like the Great Depression.
The dot-com bubble, 2008 financial crisis.
All those unexpected events that changed everything.
We can't predict the future with absolute certainty.
No matter how much data we have.
And that brings us to another concept, margin of safety.
Okay, I've heard that term, but it's always seemed vague.
What does it actually mean?
Yeah.
It's about building buffers into our plans,
Oh.
creating a cushion to withstand setbacks.
So we can capitalize on opportunities.
Exactly. It's like a financial shock absorber.
So it's like having an emergency fund, but for our entire financial life.
That's a good analogy.
Okay.
An emergency fund is one element, but the concept is broader.
So being conservative in our assumptions.
Yes.
Saving more than we think we need.
Diversifying our investments.
Avoiding too much debt.
Creating a financial fortress.
That can withstand anything.
Instead of trying to predict the future,
Yeah.
we're creating a buffer that lets us adapt.
We're acknowledging the limits of our knowledge.
Yes,
And
to
preparing for the unpredictable.
creating a cushion that gives us options.
And peace of mind.
It's like building a bridge with extra support beams.
Just in case.
It might seem excessive now.
But when the storm hits,
You'll be glad you have them.
that sense of security can be liberating.
It is. It allows us to take risks and weather challenges,
Knowing we have a solid foundation.
like having a financial safety net.
Lets us be more adventurous.
Yes, use money as a tool for freedom.
Not a source of anxiety.
Exactly.
This is a fascinating perspective on financial planning.
It is.
It's not just about numbers. It's
Yeah.
about creating a life of resilience.
Adaptability and peace of mind.
Using money to empower us to live our best lives.
That's the ultimate goal. It's interesting we were talking about that sense of security,
Yeah.
something so many people crave,
But it can feel so elusive.
especially these days,
There's this underlying anxiety.
even if we're doing okay financially.
Like we're one unexpected expense away from disaster.
Housel compares today's economic realities with the post-World War II era.
that period of prosperity everyone talks about.
Many people see it as the gold standard.
But the economic landscape has shifted so much.
The ghost of that era still lingers.
Back then, there was this sense of optimism.
Upward mobility.
The American dream felt attainable.
But today, with rising inequality, stagnant wages,
It feels out of reach for so many.
we're clinging to an outdated map.
Trying to navigate unfamiliar terrain.
That disconnect between expectations and reality.
It's a source of frustration.
Absolutely. Housel argues that nostalgia for that era
Yeah.
can distort our perceptions,
It makes us feel like we're failing.
even if we're doing okay by today's standards,
We're comparing ourselves to a phantom benchmark.
setting ourselves up for disappointment.
It's no wonder people are stressed about money.
Right.
And then there's the influence of wealth signaling.
Oh, yes, the luxury cars, the designer clothes.
The endless parade of exotic vacations on social media.
It's hard to escape that feeling that everyone else is living large.
While we're stuck struggling,
Housel challenges that notion.
that outward displays of wealth equal happiness.
He shares a story about working as a hotel valet.
Parking all those fancy cars.
What did he notice?
What?
People admired the cars, not the owners.
Interesting.
There was envy, resentment,
Directed at the objects.
not respect for the people who own them.
It's like you can't buy happiness.
Exactly.
You can buy things, but not genuine respect or contentment.
Those things come from within.
This pursuit of external validation through possessions,
Can actually lead to more anxiety,
it's a never-ending cycle,
trying to keep up with the Joneses.
never feeling truly fulfilled.
So how do we break free from this cycle?
That's the big question. How do we find contentment in a world obsessed with material wealth?
Housel suggests redefining wealth.
Okay.
He differentiates between being rich
Having a high income and spending it all.
and being wealthy,
Okay.
having financial security and flexibility.
So it's not about the size of your paycheck. It's about the freedom and options your resources provide.
Exactly. He gives the example of those sports car owners.
The ones who were drowning in debt,
They looked rich.
but weren't financially secure at all.
All that glitters is not gold.
Right. True wealth is often invisible.
It's the savings, the investments,
The peace of mind.
knowing you can weather the storms,
True wealth is about having a solid financial foundation,
options, and peace of mind.
freedom to pursue your passions,
Spend time with loved ones
contribute to your community.
without constantly worrying about money.
So how do we shift from being rich to being wealthy?
One powerful tool is saving.
Okay.
Housel challenges the view that saving is just for specific goals.
Like retirement or a down payment?
He argues that saving itself is crucial for building wealth.
So it's not just for a rainy day.
No.
It's about building financial resilience,
Making choices that align with our values.
long-term goals.
He makes an analogy to the 1970s energy crisis,
People thought we were running out of oil.
but we became more efficient.
Conservation was more effective than finding new oil.
So saving is like financial conservation,
Using resources wisely.
creating a buffer for those unexpected financial storms,
Saving gives us a sense of control.
especially when so much feels uncertain.
We can't predict the markets,
But we can control how much we save,
like building a financial fortress,
brick by brick.
creating security and stability.
That feeling of security can be so freeing.
We can.
Free us from the anxiety of living paycheck to paycheck.
Give us the confidence to pursue our passions.
Make choices that align with our values.
Not driven by fear or scarcity.
It's like having a safety net
You can take risks and make mistakes.
without the fear of financial ruin.
That brings us to another point Housel makes.
What's that?
The need for flexibility in our plans.
He challenges the idea of rigid, fixed goals.
Okay.
Like
Yes.
trying to sail a ship in a hurricane with a fixed compass.
You need to adjust based on the wind and waves.
Our goals and priorities will change.
As we gain experience and face new challenges.
He calls it the end of history illusion.
Underestimating how much will change.
He tells a story about a friend who became a doctor,
Okay.
but ended up disillusioned with the profession.
What we want today might not be what we want tomorrow.
So embrace change,
Create financial plans that are flexible. Adjust our course as needed.
like hiking a mountain.
You have a direction, but adjust your path based on the terrain.
That flexibility is empowering.
Embrace the unknown.
Explore new possibilities.
Create a financial future that aligns with our evolving values.
But embracing uncertainty can be scary.
Especially with money.
We crave security.
How do we reconcile that need for stability with the reality of uncertainty?
That's where margin of safety comes back.
But
Building buffers isn't just about preparing for the unexpected.
it's also about psychological comfort.
Navigate uncertainty with more confidence.
So it's not just about having an emergency fund. It's about the emotional benefit of that cushion.
Knowing we have a safety net.
That sense of security is freeing.
It helps us overcome fear.
Embrace calculated risks.
Pursue opportunities that might have seemed daunting.
Like jumping off a diving board.
Okay.
You jump with confidence if you know the water is deep.
But you hesitate if you're unsure.
Margin of safety empowers us to take leaps of faith.
Financially and in life.
It's a strong foundation for our dreams.
Even when things get tough.
But building wealth requires discipline.
And delayed gratification.
In a world of instant gratification, it's tempting to give in.
Housel acknowledges the allure of get-rich-quick schemes.
It's so tempting.
True wealth is rarely built overnight.
It takes effort and patience.
A willingness to delay gratification.
It's like choosing a sugary snack.
Versus a nutritious meal.
One gives you a quick burst.
The other provides sustained energy.
Impulsive purchases might feel good in the moment.
But undermine our long-term goals.
Like taking detours on a road trip.
You might never reach your destination.
Our financial journey is a marathon, not a sprint.
Have a destination in mind.
Sets a steady pace.
Resist those tempting shortcuts.
But how do we cultivate that discipline?
Reframe our perspective on delayed gratification.
Okay.
Instead of deprivation, see it as an investment in our future selves.
Sacrifices today for greater rewards tomorrow.
Like planting a garden.
You have to tend to it and wait for it to grow.
You can't rush the process.
Our efforts today are seeds we're planting for our future.
The more we nurture them, the more abundant our harvest.
But even with the best intentions,
Don't make mistakes.
experience setbacks.
Housel says setbacks are inevitable.
They're learning experiences,
Opportunities to adjust our course.
not failures.
Even the most successful investors make mistakes.
The key is to learn from them.
Adjust our strategies and keep moving forward.
It's like learning to ride a bike.
You'll fall a few times.
But each fall teaches you something.
You get back on and keep pedaling.
That resilience is crucial for long-term success.
It's not about avoiding mistakes altogether.
It's about developing the mindset to navigate challenges.
And emerge stronger.
The financial journey, like life, is a process.
Continual learning and growth.
There will be ups and downs.
Keep moving forward. Keep learning.
Create a financial future that aligns with our values. As we've been exploring these ideas, one thing that stands out to me
What's that?
is how Housel challenges us to think differently about wealth,
Not just about the numbers.
but about the lives we're building.
True financial success isn't just accumulating wealth.
Right.
It's about using it to create a meaningful life.
Aligning our spending with our values.
Prioritizing experiences over possessions.
Finding joy in the simple things.
It's a shift in focus.
From what do I want to buy to what kind of life do I want to live?
Powerful, right?
It is.
Imagine achieving all your financial goals tomorrow,
Okay.
but you're not happy with your life.
Would it even feel like success?
Good point.
Money is just a tool.
A means to an end.
The value lies in how we use it
To enhance our lives.
and the lives of others.
Having the freedom to choose how we spend our time,
Pursue our passions.
make a positive impact.
That's where understanding our financial psychology comes in.
It goes beyond just making smart investments.
Figuring out what truly matters.
Aligning our goals with those values.
Asking ourselves, what brings me joy?
What kind of legacy do I want to leave?
What impact do I want to have?
Then using our resources accordingly.
But how do we even answer those questions?
It can feel overwhelming.
Think back to a time when you felt truly content.
Okay?
What were you doing?
Who are you with?
What were your priorities?
Like a mental snapshot of happiness.
Trying to extract the key ingredients.
Were you surrounded by loved ones?
Immersed in a project.
Contributing to something bigger?
By examining those moments.
We can identify what truly brings us joy.
Then make choices that align with those values.
Create a roadmap for happiness.
Using our finances to pave the way.
What about those times when we feel lost?
Uncertain about the road ahead.
Housel emphasizes learning from others,
Okay.
their successes and failures.
Like a wise mentor sharing their wisdom.
Learn from their mistakes without going through them ourselves.
We don't have to figure everything out alone.
There's so much knowledge out there.
Reading books, listening to podcasts.
Talking to people we admire.
It's like a financial support group.
A community striving for smart decisions.
Building a secure future.
Creating a life they love,
That sense of community can be so empowering.
especially during challenges.
But what about those big financial decisions?
Ones that keep us up at night.
How do we know we're making the right choice?
Housel suggests a framework.
3 key questions.
Okay, number 1.
Okay.
What's the range of possible outcomes?
Acknowledge we can't predict the future,
But imagine a range of possibilities.
both positive and negative.
We're not fixated on one outcome.
Open to a spectrum of possibilities.
Question 2.
Okay.
What's the probability of each outcome?
Weighing the odds.
Making informed decisions.
Not eliminating risk, but understanding it.
And finally,
Yeah.
what's the impact of each outcome on my happiness?
Connecting decisions back to our values.
Recognizing that some outcomes might look good on paper.
But not align with what truly matters.
Will this decision bring me closer to the life I want?
Regardless of the financial outcome,
Exactly.
we can move beyond those maximize returns calculations.
Make decisions that align with our values
Our risk tolerance.
and aspirations for a fulfilling life.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
It really has.
The psychology of money is full of insights.
Actionable advice.
It's challenged us to think differently about money.
Wealth, success, and the role of money in our lives.
It's a book that makes you think.
Even after you finish reading,
Re-examine your habits and values. If you want to take control of your finances,
gain a deeper understanding of your money mindset.
create a more fulfilling future.
Check out the psychology of money.
We have more resources on our website.
Articles, tools, a community forum.
Connect with other listeners.
Share your insights.
It's been a pleasure discussing these ideas with you.
Likewise, I always enjoy these deep dives.
Me too. And thank you to our listeners.
Thanks for joining us.
We hope you found this exploration insightful.
As thought-provoking as we did.
Until next time, keep learning
Keep growing.
and keep striving for a life of financial freedom